So, a teen crypto trader shot dead in a Porsche after flaunting lavish lifestyle on Instagram. Now, this is actually pretty depressing to hear about, and we're going to go over the story. But this is also something that you got to understand that apparently this 19-year-old was a millionaire from crypto trading. Apparently. The thing is, a lot of people don't really understand the potential consequences to flaunting the wealth that you end up having. Now, the thing is, that doesn't mean that like this should ever happen to anyone, right? But the problem is, when people figure out that you have money, there's more people out there or more chances of someone out there to be crazy and end up reacting towards it in a very negative route. So, I mean, even if there's like, let's just use America as an example, right? There's over 300 million people, right? Let's just use the number 300 million, right? If you just got like 1% of the 300 million, that's like what, 3 million people that potentially are crazy, right? Like it's something to really think about. So let's get right into the story. Hold on, let's actually watch the video. So he's driving his Porsche around. Okay. Probably shouldn't be driving around while recording yourself. That's one thing. Okay, it's just a clip of him. So a young crypto trader who flaunted his wealth on Instagram has been shot dead at the wheel of his red Porsche Boxster. Gunmen unleashed a hail of bullets on 19-year-old Wesley Pisano Santarém as he drove through the Brazilian city of São Pedro de Adia. Now, here's the thing, right? If I was like a crypto millionaire, there's no way in hell I would actually want to live in like Brazil, right? Like, this is another thing that you really got to think about too, right? Like, once you get into some money, you should potentially view different locations to live in, like in very safe communities, because there's no reason to be like going through Brazil. So chilling video footage filmed the aftermath of the broad daylight shooting on August 4th shows Wesley motionless in the driver's seat of his car with his white t-shirt soaked in blood. There is a visible bullet wound in his neck. The shocking killing comes as gangs are increasingly targeting so-called insta-bragging Bitcoin traders and influencers after they have flaunted their wealth on social media. Despite being just 19 years old, Wesley had apparently made a fortune as a cryptocurrency trader and investor for at least 3 years. On Instagram, he flaunted his wealth and expensive lifestyle to his 133,000 followers plus a YouTube channel with 15,600 subscribers where he gave trading tips. His last Insta post was a photo of him sitting on the red porch in which he was shot as he flicks through wads of cash. So according to reports, Wesley, who lived in the nearby city of Cabo Frio, was driving to the hairdressers to get a haircut when he was ambushed. The killing took place in front of bystanders who said the killers were driving a silver Volkswagen Voyage. Cops say Wesley took at least 4 bullets, including one to the head, and Wesley's pal was traveling in the passenger seat at the time and was injured in the shooting. He was taken to the hospital in Cabo Frio, while Wesley's body was taken for a post-mortem examination. The injured man's identity has not been reported, and the police have not revealed the killer's identities or the possible motive for the crime. Some local media are reporting it was a case of mistaken identity. Now, experts believe around 8% of people could be targeted by criminals due to what they share on social media, even using pictures to pick out loot or to find entry points to people's homes. Cryptocurrency trader Kieran Hamilton was stabbed and robbed by a machete-wielding gang after he had boasted about his lifestyle on Instagram. The two masked robbers raided his Greater Manchester home in November 2018 and demanded his valuables. See, again, this is the sad thing about social media and just, things in general, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Now, obviously, it's not that great of someone, flaunting their wealth, right? Because no one necessarily really likes seeing someone completely flaunt their wealth in a very, annoying way, right? But that does not mean that they deserve to be shot, right? That does not mean that they should be targeted. Like, it's very scary that things like that can happen, right? But here's the thing, right? If you end up making a lot of money, sometimes it's better to keep that to yourself, right? Just because you never know the type of people that are out there, right? For example, right? You might be someone who ends up playing a game, right? And let's say that you're playing a game and then you just randomly interact with people, right? There's a chance that that random person that you interact with the game could be completely psychotic and might try to find you and might try to shoot you or something. You never know, right? So the problem that I see in this whole situation is that, one, he kind of lives in an area or was traveling through an area that's kind of sketchy, Brazil. Two, once you start having more money, you should look at more ways to conserve your wealth, not necessarily to flaunt it too much. There's nothing wrong with technically flaunting your wealth or your money. I mean, if you earn it through legitimate means, go ahead and do that, right? But again, there's always a certain percentage of people that are just absolutely crazy. And if you're okay with the risk of that potentially dealing with, a potentially nutty person, go ahead and do whatever you want, right? Just understand that there's a chance, a very small chance, but a chance that you might interact with someone who is absolutely insane and might hate you to the point of potentially ending your life for really no reason other than the fact that they just hate you, right? That is a very real possibility in today's world where someone might just hate you for some stupid reason that is incomprehensible to you, but they still might end up doing something to you, right? That is kind of the world that we live in now. So all I suggest for people is hey, just try to be safe. Go ahead and do whatever you want, but understand that there's always risk and consequences to everything that you end up doing. And again, when it comes down to money and stuff, people can react very differently to money. Now, here's the thing, though, right? There's nothing wrong with you doing this in a somewhat safe area. Again, let's use a different example, right? Let's say that this was in America and he lived in an area that's kind of close or was traveling through an area through the ghetto, right? Just straight up ghetto, gangbangers everywhere, all that kind of stuff, right? Very impoverished area. There's a lot of gang members, whether it be Crips, Bloods, all that kind of stuff, right? Would you feel safe living near an area or driving through an area when you've been posting about your lifestyle and how much money you have and you live kind of close to that area, right? And again, you should not be faulted for that. Nothing should ever happen to you. But at the same time, you got to understand that there's a risk when you go through an area that is known to be pretty dangerous, that is known to have a lot of gangs in it, and you end up driving through that area, right? There's risk when it comes down to it, right? There's risk in everyday life, but you have an increased risk of these different factors. So just keep that in mind. If you want to live this type of lifestyle, you should probably live in the proximity of better neighborhoods, safer areas, potentially more of a higher police presence, all that sort of stuff, right? There's reasons why there's some let's just use California for example, right? There's reasons why there's some areas in California where you have multi-million-dollar homes and areas where there's basically no crime, but then 5 minutes down the road or the street, guess what? There's gang banging going on, there's crimes going on, there's shootings going on, there's theft going on, and it might be just a 5-minute drive, right? There's a difference as to why there's such a, scale as to what's going on, right? It's because in one area there's more of a security presence, more of a police presence, which decreases the potential crimes that might be taking place. Now, nowadays, California's kind of gotten really weird, but it's just something to really think about, right? Like if you are wanting to live this type of lifestyle, you wanting to drive this type of car, you got to understand it's not necessarily a smart idea to be driving in an area that might have a high chance or a higher chance of gang related activities. And again, he should never be blamed for the situation. It is extremely sad to see someone so young end up passing away through like such a horrendous means. Just understand that even though you might be doing everything right in your life, you still could end up dealing with really horrible stuff. So just keep that in mind. So if you like this sort of content, feel free to hit the like button. If you wish him the best in the afterlife, depending on what you believe in, hit the like button. Because here's the thing, right? Like I hope this doesn't happen to anyone else, right? Like I hope this doesn't keep happening because it's just very depressing and like it's just sad to see someone's life end so quickly. Like, I mean, just think about it. Like, let's say that you potentially, like, that he could have potentially lived up to like 100 years, right? That means he like lost like 80 years, 81 years. Like, that's crazy. Like, to die at 19, that is just so depressing. But if you need help with mastering your money, go check out 40inbox.com to learn the secret to mastering your money, which means getting out of debt, creating an emergency fund, and starting to invest so that you could have more freedom and live the life that you want to live. Because even though you may not get to the point of, you know, driving around in like a Porsche Boxster or that kind of stuff, right? Flaunting like massive amounts of cash, all that kind of stuff, right? You could still end up having a lifestyle where you are free to do basically whatever you want to do, right? So just keep that in mind. If you create a very strong financial foundation, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But of course, no matter what, you still got to deal with like that 1% of crazies out there.